Ratan Naval Tata was a Zoroastrian Parsi born and brought up in Bombay in colonial India. He grew up and made his name a brand in independent India's maximum city, Mumbai. Born to Naval Tata, he was blood related to the Tata family but a distant relative. Ratan Tata's father, Naval Tata, was adopted by the youngest son of legendary founder of Tata Group, Jamsetji Tata. This adoption of 1908 changed everything. Ratan Tata's father, adopted son of R.J. Tata, worked his way up from the lowest rank to become deputy chairperson of Tata Sons and then chairperson of Ratan Tata Trust. He taught his eldest son the same lesson with which he grew up, a humble beginning and working one's way up through the conglomerate to lead it one day. Posted 220 weeks ago on Instagram, Ratan Tata remembered his first visit to Jamshedpur, the birthplace of Tata Group. He was on a college holiday and much before he started working on the Tata steel floor. Jamshedpur is mourning his demise. Ramnath Sharma remembers working with young Ratan Tata in the late 60s.
It is in 1967. As a young man who had returned from Cornell, he came to Jamshedpur, and from here he came to Jamodava, where I was the chief mining engineer. After 10 years I came back, and first as a managing director of tin plate, then vice president of Tata Steel, and it is that time again we got in touch. And over a period I knew him well, and we worked together, many things, we talked, chatted. Every time we went to Bombay, I would spend time with him and just chat with me. Human being is someone who possibly had all the qualities of humility, of working, of consideration, of care and concern for others, everything that you would expect. And at the same time, he had a vision to grow. And from what did he do? From 5 billion to 100 billion growth. That was his vision, to grow, grow, grow. And he used to tell us, either you be number 1 or 2 or wipe out. You cannot exist without. And that's exactly what he worked on.
Thank you, sir. Thanks
And one simple example I'll tell you, the humility. I was down at Bombay House, waiting for a vehicle. He came down. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "The hotel." He said, "My car has not come. First let me get in, drop me at the house." In a rented car, he quietly went and dropped him at the house. That is his humility.
1962, Ratan Tata was fresh out of Cornell University, armed with a bachelor's degree in architecture, more than ready to enter and learn as he would rise from the lowest rungs in one of India's most hallowed industrial houses. Ratan Tata was 25 when he entered the offices of the National Radio and Electronics Company Limited at Andheri in Mumbai. 9 years later, he was the director in charge of the company, and a decade later, the chairman of Tata Industries. In 1991, he succeeded J.R.D. Tata as the chairman of the Tata Group. Though he had the magic surname, young Ratan had a tough act to follow. That of his predecessors, Jamsetji Tata, Dorab Tata, and finally the iconic J.R.D. Ratan Tata took on the challenge, and by the time he retired in December 2012, Tata Group's financials spoke loud about the impact he had. During his tenure, the group's revenues grew manifold, totaling over $100 billion in 2011-12.
He did the things that were so necessary for the Tatas. He took over in 91, soon after liberalization, and it was very critical in that decade to prepare the Tata Group to take on competition, both domestic competition as well as the entry of international companies that are coming to the Indian market. And once he had cemented the ability of Indian companies in Tata's to really compete, he then encouraged them to go overseas in the next 10 years of his chairmanship. And that saw tremendous growth of the Tata Group from a $10 billion group that was largely Indian to a $100 billion group that had made a name all across the world by the time he retired in 2012. So I think both as a human being and as somebody who was a role model, I think, for business persons around the world, I had this fantastic privilege of having worked closely with him.
Ratan Tata identified the opportunity which the liberalization of the Indian economy provided and began restructuring the Tata Group in 1991. Under his leadership, the group acquired high-profile international brands like Tetley Tea, Daewoo, Chorus Steel and Jaguar Land Rover. He was also the man behind Tata Nano, the company's small car project, which he hoped would give wheels to the middle class. The journey, however, was not easy and tested his mettle at every turn. First, he had to deal with the satraps, a legacy left by his uncle, J.R.D. Tata. Rusi Modi lorded over Tata Steel. Darbari Seth was the final voice at Tata Tea and Tata Chemicals. Ajit Kerkar was the force behind Indian Hotels. And Nani Palkiwala was the man behind ACC. Each considered these companies their fiefdoms and looked at Ratan Tata as another outsider they had to deal with. 6 years after taking over as the Tata Group chairman, all four of them resigned.
He really enjoyed being with young people. And I think it's also had something to do with the fact that he was a very young person, in a sense, in the boardroom of Tata Sons when he took charge of the Tata Group. All his peers around the table were people who were 2 and 3 decades older than him. And I think that made him quite sensitive and conscious about the fact that young people need to always be supported. And later in life, of course, we all know the huge hand he's had in supporting many entrepreneurs and very young startups of this country.
Tata also wielded the broom on several companies. He exited cement, textiles and cosmetics and focused his energies on software, telecom, finance and retail. Finally, after serving as the group chairman for 21 years, Tata retired in December 2012. He had spent 50 illustrious years with the Tata Group. His employees were his trusted lieutenants, his extended family, who could ask for help, advice, and depend on him.
Well, the very first interview, in a sense, to join his office that I had with him, I had a master's and a doctorate, but in social sciences. I did not have an MBA. And I remember telling him, Mr. Tata, are you sure that I will be able to support you well in your office? I was to start as his executive assistant and eventually became his principal staff officer. And I said, I don't have an MBA. Is that going to be a problem for you? And he said, Mukund, the only thing you need to succeed in the corporate world is good common sense. And that's something I repeat so many times to youngsters these days.
मैं टाटा का एम्प्लॉई हूँ पिछले 20 साल से, ठीक है। और ये कोविड का जो मुश्किल टाइम था, वैसे तो इतने बड़े महान विभूति के सामने मैं बहुत छोटा आदमी हूँ अपनी बात रखने के लिए, बट जो मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, कोविड के मुश्किल टाइम में हमारी जो जॉब के ऊपर कुछ प्रॉब्लम आई थी, तो फैमिली पूरा प्रॉब्लम में थी। तो मेरी बिटिया थी छोटी, उसने मुझको देखा कि मेरी सिचुएशन ऐसी है, तो उसको पता था, छोटी बच्ची को भी, रतन टाटा एक ट्रस्ट है, उसको फ़ोन करूँगी तो काम बन जाएगा। तो उसने गूगल से सर्च किया रतन टाटा जी का नंबर जो एसटीडी वाला था, उस पर कॉल किया। एक बार नहीं मिला, दूसरी बार ट्राई किया, सेकंड टाइम में उन्होंने पिक करके बोला कि आपके पास कॉल बैक आ जाएगा। तो भाग के मेरे पास आई और उसने बोला कि पापा आपके पास कॉल बैक आ जाएगा। आप बिलीव करना, संडे के दिन 8:45 बजे सुबह को मेरे पास फ़ोन आ जाता है कि विकास त्यागी, यू कैन से योर वर्ड, जो प्रॉब्लम है वो बताइए, और अगले 3 दिन में मेरे पास में अगला ऑफ़र आ जाता है। तो ये था टाटा, ये टाटा है।
He was a humble man who believed in wearing old clothes despite being a multimillionaire. Ratan Tata was an Indian who only wanted his country to keep spreading its wings with humility, empathy, and dignity.